And we know now that Kris Jenner is supposedly in some tapes that the feds have of Diddy. So I'm really curious, is Corey Gamble around Kris Jenner for this reason? Because Kris Jenner and Diddy have had a close relationship for years, and we know that the scheme of Diddy's investigation is going back years.
Let me ask you about Corey Gamble. He was at Kim Porter's death scene.
Yeah, I know. And he was also the that took Tory Lanez to Kylie's house to fake shoot Megan Thee Stallion.
I've received numerous tips that all are very, very similar. And these tips came from individuals who have claimed to be familiar or know Corey Gamble from when he still lived and worked in Atlanta. Corey was once a performer in the adult film industry. Multiple people came to me sharing this information and that they had seen him while they were working on certain sets, and obviously I am not going to share their identity for their own protection.
My understanding is that there was a lot of individuals that were involved, and I think by looking at the indictment and seeing that only Sean Combs is the only defendant currently, who knows if that increases and it gets superseded with a different indictment. But currently there's only one defendant. My guess is that all of those individuals that could have been co-defendants or could have been co-conspirators or could have been involved in a RICO case have flipped on Sean Combs, and they're getting some sort of immunity. You find it's usually very unusual to have a RICO case with one individual as a defendant.
Whew, child. It looks like Diddy's crew is starting to fold under pressure, and the tea is piping hot. Word on the street is that his so-called close friend, Corey Gamble, is singing to the feds like a bird. Allegedly, Corey flipped and handed over some serious physical receipts in exchange for immunity once that trial kicks off. Now here's where it gets real messy. Rumor has it that one of those receipts Corey passed along is proof that Diddy allegedly set up Kim Porter's, all because she was about to spill the tea in her memoir, and even helped Cassie dip out from his toxic mess. To make sure everything went down smoothly, Diddy supposedly had Corey watch from the sidelines to guarantee it all got done, with no evidence linking him to the crime. And now Corey's got those receipts and is spilling all the beans. Looks like the feds finally heard what Al B. Sure and Kim's family have been saying for ages, because word is they've officially reopened the investigation into Kim Porter's alleged murder. Everybody knew the streets have been whispering about Diddy for the longest, but turns out it wasn't just us Kim's family, and Al B were pointing fingers at him too. And if you thought it couldn't get any juicier, listen to this. Reports are saying that Kim's family was gearing up to hit Diddy with a wrongful death lawsuit right after she passed. Now, if that don't scream they believe he did it, I don't know what does. According to an insider, the FBI has already been reaching out, and 3 family members along with 6 friends have been interviewed. And guess what? They've all been told to zip it tight. Now here's where it gets even more wild. Kim's ex spilled that when Cassie filed her own lawsuit against Diddy, she mentioned having some dirt on what really happened to Kim, including proof of why she was taken out. Woo! And if you're sitting there wondering why they're all pointing fingers at Diddy, well, it's because the police had all sorts of questions about things that just didn't add up with her so-called pneumonia passing. Something smells off, and people been saying it for a while. Now, baby, the real tea is in the details. And this document is spilling all of it. When Kim passed, folks were raising all kinds of questions about how she really died. If they want us to believe it was pneumonia and that she peacefully went in her sleep, then somebody better explain why there was on her pillowcases and a slight trail on the floor leading to the bathroom. Why hasn't that been talked about? They tried to say Kim was found unresponsive in bed, but get this, she was actually found on the bathroom floor. So if she was in bed when they showed up, somebody moved her there on purpose. And don't even get me started on the so-called housemates who found her. That's a straight up lie. Kim was being watched by a medical professional that Sean himself picked, and the last call Kim made, she dialed 911 at 2:43 a.m. but wasn't found until way later in the morning around 11 a.m. Baby, this timeline